Aidan, thanks for having us here at Ballydoyle this morning. A really busy time coming up with obviously the Betfred St Leger Festival at Doncaster and Irish Champions Weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Listen, it's exciting, really. This time of the year is always something really to look forward to. I think everybody does, all over the world. Very high-class races, all the way through all the cards. And I think the way the world is now, everybody in all parts of the world is watching it and comparing it and analysing it, so that can get a handle on all the horses, really.
Talk on the Betfred St Leger, you've won it 7 times. You know exactly what it takes to make a St Leger winner. What do you look for in a horse?
You need a horse with class, stamina. They have to have speed, but it's a tough race. Leger, it's a competitive race. They have to really stay, but they also have to have class to get into it. So it's a tough race. It really tests a 3-year-old stamina, but a very important race for the thoroughbred breed, really.
Is there any point where you see a potential St Leger profile in a horse? Is it as a youngster or is it going through their 3-year-old career?
Yeah, you'd see it in a lot of horses, but the problem is a lot of horses don't develop the class to win it. A lot of horses have stamina, but they have to have class and stamina, which is rare, but that's what makes it such an important race. I think for the genes, staying genes going forward and coming through, you can have a horse that can go back in distance after the Leger, horses that can go up, but it is a very competitive, tough race. A lot of horses have the quality, but they have to keep developing, if you know what I mean, and usually pedigree is a big thing to help that to happen.
In a period of time where breeders and buyers are all looking at speed and precocity, what is it about you and your horses where you look for something about stamina and, in terms of the breed?
Yeah, I think speed and precocity became kind of popular or became fashionable, but I think it's changing. See, Hong Kong is changing. They're trying to get middle distance horses now, and I think people are going back to the older way, what the older people thought about, which was class, and that's coming through now, and obviously the Derby and the Leger now as well. It's all changing. A lot of pedigrees have lost their class because they have left the stamina horses go, and the only thing that will sustain a pedigree is class. Speed will last and carry only for so long, but I think people want horses that can do the classic trips now, mile and a quarter, mile and a half, mile and 6, and I think fashion is really changing.
Well, let's look at your team for this year then. Illinois, he's proven at the trip and a good second at York.
Yes, very happy with him. We always felt he would stay. He won in Ascot over a mile and 6 and ran very well in the Voltage. We thought it was a lovely trial for him. We were very happy with him. Wayne rode him that day, was very happy. We know he will get the trip. Nice ground will be important to him. He's very closely related to an Arc winner, so he's a horse that has a lot of class, and we think and hope the Leger will suit him well.
I mean, you looked at him earlier on in the season, potential Derby, ran in a Derby trial looking towards Epsom. Is he one that surprised you?
Yes, we would have ran him in the Derby other than City's trial was there. We were very happy with his trial in Lingfield. He was very green but still ran very well and was galloping home very well. But we decided to go to Ascot with him because obviously we had the Leger in mind for a long time for him, or with him. So he ran over obviously a mile and 6 in Ascot and was still very green but still won very well.
Very different profile. You've also got Jan Brueghel, who's just got a stamina-laden pedigree.
Yeah, and didn't run last year, so he's probably had to make up a lot of ground. We're very happy with his last run in Goodwood. He found the track a little bit difficult, which can happen, but got the trip very well. He was probably the first horse off the bridle, but still kept going and came back to win. We think the extra distance will suit him. Nice ground will suit him, and we think he has improved a good bit since Goodwood.
He was well on top of the line in the Gordon Stakes, and that form's worked out with the one behind going in and winning in America.
That's right, exactly. It turned out a good race, but it was a tough race, I thought, watching him. He came off the bridle early, but he did deal with it, and like what you said, he was on top on the line.
And a long straight will suit him?
I think so. Long, flat, straight will suit him. He's a very low mover, long striding horse, so I think no doubt about that.
And Grosvenor Square as well, obviously a very impressive 20-length winner at the Irish St Leger trial. Is he likely to make a trip to Doncaster?
Yeah, the plan is to go. He's a very unusual horse. He looks, something could be very different. Very difficult horse to deal with if you're riding against him. If you leave him go, he won't come back. If you go after him, he might kill you. So he's unbelievable. He seems to have an awful lot of stamina, a very high cruiser and very genuine. So he's a very rare looking horse. So I think he's very exciting, and he's a horse that people can really watch, and like he goes out there and he goes a gallop and he doesn't stop. So it will make the Doncaster will make the Leger a very tough race, you know. So I think people will watch him from everywhere because he's one of those exciting horses. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He'll go out on his sword. And how do you deal with him if you're riding against him?
I mean, obviously that race where he went off in a big lead and just got run down by Tower of London. Were you surprised how he hung around in there?
Yes, we were. Yeah, we always felt letting him make the run was going to suit him. We didn't want to do it with him because he was a big, weak horse and we didn't feel physically he was ready for it, so we kept containing him. We ran him in Chester, holding him up, not sure it was the right thing to do, but we didn't want to give him a hard race, and then we felt he was too babyish for the Derby, and that's why we didn't go there. So we contained him as long as we could, and obviously the first time we let him go was in the Curragh. So we always had the Betfred Leger as a eye on it for him, as a possibility, and the Curragh race worked in lovely. So it was a trial, was 1 mile and 6. We know that he doesn't have any problem going the other way. We think a flat track will suit him better, and he looks to have a lot of stamina, so he's going to be a very exciting horse.
Obviously, with Ryan being booked for Irish Champions weekend, any thoughts on jockeys?
No, I'm not sure. Gavin has rode him before. We'll get close to time and see, but I don't think there's any scarcity jockeys. I think Ryan will obviously be in Leopardstown. Wayne rode Illinois in York. So, we'll see, get closer to the time and see how he's training, but we're very happy with him at the moment.
There's a few of your other runners you may be going as well at the Betfred St Leger Festival. Camille Pissarro, you mentioned potentially in the big sales race.
Yes, yeah, possible. We're very happy with him. We think we haven't seen the best of him. We think there's plenty to come from him. Things haven't fallen for him yet, so we'll definitely think about it.
The officer potentially for the Flying Scotsman.
Yes, yeah, he's a lovely horse. He's only ran once and won once, and if everything goes well, we think it would be a lovely stepping stone for him, and the education would do him good.
And the filly Port Fairy may go for the Park
Yes,
Hill.
yeah, we used her a little bit in the Yorkshire Oaks. She won the Ribbonsdale, which is a very good, tough race to win. We think the extra distance will suit her well. We built to ride a race on her properly, and we think she could run a very big race.
I'll just touch on Irish Champions weekend as well, Aidan. Irish Champions Stakes, Augusta Road, and obviously brilliant winner of the Betfred Derby last year. How's he come out of his last run?
Yeah, very good. Obviously, what he did in Epsom was incredible. He's one of those horses that kind of just about gets 1.5 miles, 1.25 miles is loads of class for, but just about gets 1.5 miles. But we're very happy with him since Ascot. His work is very good. He worked with a lot of zest the last day. He's physically done very well, and looking forward to seeing him again.
And you may pitch a 3-year-old Los Angeles in here as well.
Yes, yeah, we had our eye on running him there with the view to maybe going to the Arc after that. We're not sure whether he has enough class for it, but we think there's more in there than we're seeing. We think strongly run 1.25 miles will do him good, and we will learn a lot about him. But either ways, we think the experience is going to do him good.
I mean, he's done you proud, hasn't he? Third in the Derby's his only defeat. He's gone from strength to strength and had a penalty, of course. In the
Absolutely, and very difficult to win the Voltage or with a penalty. I don't think very few horses have done it. And he seems to have come out of the race well.
And Luxembourg goes as well to won this race before?
Yeah, he's a very consistent horse. He's the same. He's 1.25 miles horse that just gets 1.5 miles. He's in good form, would love nice ground, and we've been very happy with him since, and he's a very solid horse, really.
And in the Irish St Leger as well, is that the plan for Kyprios?
Yes, yeah, at the moment. Listen, amazing what he's done. He was very good in Goodwood. He seems to be in good form at the moment, and he's an incredible horse, really. A lot of class. Very unusual for a horse that gets that Gold Cup trip the way he does, and to have the class that he has. So he's a unique horse, really. You
mentioned this morning, you think he could be a group horse over 10, 12
furlongs? Oh, yeah, we think he'd have no problem being a group horse over 1.25 miles. And for him to be able to stay as well as he does is incredible, really.
Let's talk about this year's Betfred Derby hero, City of Troy. How pleased were you with his winning the International?
Yes, over the moon. Like, he's an incredible horse. We always felt he was. He was very green in the Derby, and it was obviously it's the race everyone wants to win. So there was a lot of eyes on him and a lot of anticipation coming up to the race, what would happen, and he had a lot of things to overcome, a lot of things that we weren't able to prepare him for. But he was incredible. Was one of those very special days, really.
And the Ghost of the Guineas now put firmly behind you.
Exactly, yeah, that's right. And that was it. And like, obviously it went totally wrong in the Guineas, and like what you said, there was a lot of pressure, there was a lot of criticism, everything after, and which was rightly so, and people, a lot of doubters, but it was a great day for everyone, I think.
And we've seen him here this morning, he just looks fantastic, and I believe he's coming over to Southall to train ahead of the Breeders' Cup Classic.
That's the plan, yeah, to go to Southall, and hopefully we'll prepare him as good as we can for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Obviously there won't be anything like on the dirt, but it's a little bit of a change for him, and he'll have a couple of days cantering out there if everything goes well. So listen, it's something to look forward to. It'll be exciting either ways.
A couple of years ago, the Augusta Lowdown was the big talking point over the winter, and 12 months ago we had City of Troy, who was obviously highly talked about going through the winter. There's 2 million reasons why we may have another juvenile to look forward to, obviously with the Triple Crown bonus to look forward to next year. Yeah,
which is incredible. Like, that would be unbelievable for us if it did happen. It's an unbelievable initiative, and it really focuses everybody's mind, but it's a very difficult thing to do, very hard to get a horse to do it, but it makes it very intriguing, exciting for everybody. I think would love to do it sometime. We're trying to do it every year, but it just makes it extra special if we could.
Thanks very much, Aidan.
Pleasure.